what you've done so far in the question is mostly correct. Your method is good. So when you've looked at your first one with the circular base with a diameter of 50, and then in the second one that you drew, you've got your rectangle with your length of 45 and the width of 32. All of that is fine, and your method of working out the length around the rectangular base and around the circular base as well is both fine. But the thing that you've missed out is that all of the measurements are correct to the nearest centimetre. So that means if we wanted the longest each of them could be, so the longest for your diameter, and let's say the longest for your length and width then of your rectangle. So the longest your diameter, if it's measured to the nearest centimetre, could be is 50.5 centimetres. The longest the length could be is 45.5, and the longest the width could be is 32.5. And if we looked at the shortest that each of those could be, then the shortest it could be is 49.5. The shortest the length could be is 44.5, and the shortest the width could be is 31.5. So that's called the upper and lower bounds. So 50 centimetres, then it's half a centimetre below and half a centimetre above if it's the nearest centimetre. Same with 45 centimetres, half a centimetre above and below, and with 32 centimetres, half above or below. So when it asks you then to show that it's not certain that the length of tape around the circular base will be longer than the length of tape around the rectangular base, then all we need to do is show that the shortest your circular base could be and the longest your rectangular base could be. Because in that case, you've got a circular... Oh, let me start again. So it asks you to show that it is not certain that the length of the tape around the circular base will be longer than the length of tape around the rectangular base. So they're saying that the length of tape around the circular base is longer than the length of the tape around the rectangular base. So we want to show that it's not always certain that that is the case. So if we did that, we would take shortest of the circular base and the longest of our rectangular base, and hopefully the longest part of that rectangular base will be longer than the shortest the circular base could be. So if you looked at your circular base first, you worked it out correctly in the one that you sent over, so that was pi times your diameter, so that's pi times, and if we want the shortest circular base, that's going to be pi times 49.5. So if I do that on my calculator quickly, so that gives 155.5 centimetres. And if I did the rectangular base, then that is going to be my longest my length could be, so that was 45.5, add another 45.5, and the longest my width could be, which was 32.5, so I'll add on two lots of 32.5s, and if I work out that answer, that gives me 156 centimetres. So that means the longest our rectangular base can be, 156 centimetres, is bigger then the longest my circular base can be, the shortest the circular base could be, which was 55.5 centimeters. So we can say it is not certain that the circular base is longer. So just to recap that again then, so because we were told it was measured to the nearest centimetre, then that meant that we'd have to work out the upper and lower bound. So the upper bound for the diameter, so the longest it could be was 0.5 centimetres above 50, the shortest it could be was 0.5 centimetres below. Then we did the same for our length and our width, and then because they said show that it's not certain that the length of the tape around the circular base will be longer than the length of tape around the rectangular base, then we wanted the shortest circular base and the longest rectangular base, because that gave us the best chance, the best chance of our rectangular base being longer than the circular base. Then we worked it out, so a circular base, pi times the diameter, gave us the circumference, so we chose the shortest diameter, and in the case of our rectangular base, we took the longest of each of our measurements for our length and each of our measurements for our width, to give us 156 centimeters. So our rectangular base was bigger than our circular base, and so that meant that we can't be certain that the circular base is always longer. Hope that helps.